set of heroes. Yeah, he's like Uker is strong that when he gives somebody like a shoulder shake, you're feeling it, sort of thing. He kind of tries to wiggle out of it, but so
Good day, Cursed.
Sir Galith, good. Probably the group I want to talk to. The men are wondering what to do with the animals we captured.
Oh,
That wolf is not happy where it is. None of us quite have the means
I can see to it.
to train it. The pigs are not too bad. They can just be led around, but
Zyber will train them.
God's damn. I mean, and he looks up at like into the building.
His other's like, what's that? Oh no!
Worry not, Cursed.
They sure eat a lot.
Have you tried putting them to use? They're strong beasts of burden with powerful backs. They might be able to clear the rubble or help you rebuild.
Yes, we've thought about it, but the beasts belong to you, don't they?
Wolves aren't really good for labour.
Oh, the boars, he means.
The boar.
Strong creatures, powerful haunches. Could
Good
drag
for
a
labor or
drag
steaming catapult.
masonry or a catapult or a wagon, whatever you wish. As far as I'm concerned, you have leave to use them.
Huh.
Does anyone else object?
Zyber will take them if you guys don't want them. He's looking for pigs.
As for the wolf, I'll see to that.
Thank you. We'll see if there are Orkneska if they're used to the scent. I think we can put the pigs to work. They're used to pulling carts around. Yeah, why not? We do have some reconstruction to do, and he points back to the tower that collapsed during the battle.
It'll be easier to remove the rubble if you have them on your side.
And we might want to...
Piece like that could do the work of 20 men.
Maybe if we hooked up a plow, we can start digging a trench around the base of the cliff.
It's not a bad idea. Set up a moat, perhaps. I don't know where you get the water, but it's worth considering.
Oh, the Ulster Spring. We could probably divert the water from the cistern.
Well, there you have it. A new level of defense that would protect the town. Do you have any engineers about that could construct a drawbridge? That's what you'll need next.
Let's just see with getting the tower rebuilt.
They should also plug hole.
Well, you folk aren't going anywhere, are you?
No.
If you're going to go out in the wilderness again, keep an eye out. We've got a patrol that failed to report in.
Where were they
How
going?
long ago?
They were due back a while ago.
We should go goat them.
Be happy to look into it.
Yeah, we can goat them.
It was led
What
by
is- What is goat?
You know, it's the Icelandic word for find them.
Goat.
Still learning.
We goat them.
we
goat
got
them.
That's not a bad choice of words. One of the things that the Icelandic people deal with most often is lost goats and sheep.
Jagrin is our most experienced patrol leader. He hasn't been seen since the battle. Of course, sometimes the patrols do take them away, but he should have reported in by now.
Could be he ran afoul of an orc flank.
Could be. Although I dread to think of what could stop Jagrin.
You saw what they had. Tusked giants. Orcs by the hundreds. An army can stop a man, no matter how strong he might be.
Agreed.
We'll see to this wolf. In a few days' time, we'll set out and look for your missing patrol if they haven't returned by then. Maybe we can find some sign of what happened.
Right. I wouldn't mind watching to see what you do with the wolf, if you don't mind.
It's alright by me.
I'm a bit of a ranger myself, he says.
I have little experience. I have limited experience with wild animals, but any animal that can be trained to be a mount can be broken.
He's a ranger that aims, Mark. He's a little
What a loser! Can't even reduce the training time of an animal to 1 day. So stupid.
You're one of them squinty archers, right?
Good old one eyes.
Kerr seems to be a good-humored man, and he's probably got more class levels than most people in the town. Like
And
most,
probably more
most of the
charisma
combo.
too.
Yeah. He wears a long sword. He carries a long bow. He's got a bit of a strength. He laughed at the joke about him being cursed. Yeah.
If you could help me with the preparations for dealing with the wolf, I'll need a muzzle, something big enough for it, a harness, some chains and ropes, and if you could bring some meat.
Sure. We doing this today?
Well, I'm done with my training on the lists for now, I think.
Yeah.
The giant is satisfied, so...
Tomorrow I need volunteer.
Volunteer for what, my friend?
I need volunteer for experiment.
What sort of...
He says that word in like a wrong language.
What does he need a volunteer for?
I need them to hold rope.
Yeah, all
Can
right.
do.
At your disposal as per the Jarl's command.
He's going to try out a new trick because he wants to know how well it'll work.
A what?
A new trick. A new trick of Uker.
Okay. Curse looks worried, but
I suspect with your strength, my friend, we could have half the town stand on one side of a rope and you on the other, you'd still pull us over the line.
you there. Go fetch rear haunch of beef. Yes, sir. And he seems to be able to order the guards around. He might be a higher ranking member of the guards.
One more thing. I'll need a long stick, preferably with a blunt end.
All right.
Something Captain Metal, perhaps. If you have a spear lying around, that might work.
You can borrow my long hammer, says Lowkirk from behind.
That will work.
Low
I need something to keep the beast at bay and make sure that it respects my authority.
Right, give it a dunk over the head.
Authority!
Basically, right. It's the old stick-carrot combo.
Sure. Okay, so I guess the group of you go down and they're just going to start training the wolf.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uker, you know that sitting with Oberon, just back the conversation up a little bit. Oberon, he kind of finished up with his spells and he had a little bit of spare time, and you noticed him sitting in the back room and looking at the rune stone. He tried to cover it up when you kind of came in, but he was looking at it from afar, like he was studying it. He did a really poor job at bluffing. He's not a really good bluffer.
Sometimes great sages see puzzles that have no answer, and it frustrates them. But you have to sometimes let your mind go.
Is that what you do when you study spells? Let your mind go?
I said great sages. I am not sage. I am Bokari.
Yes, whatever the hell that means.
Wrestler, athlete. It is professional competitor.
Wrestling is a sport where you come from?
There's a big ring, and you have two powerful champions, and they compete, and the winner gets adulation, and the loser gets to train harder for next time.
like two big grappling apes.
Sometimes ape, sometimes rhino, sometimes hippo, sometimes dragon,
Don't forget bear.
bear, kariku.
Okay, Oberon's now convinced he never wants to go to your world.
Look, it is puny wizard man. Break him.
Right.
Everybody break him.
He's sitting there and smiling politely and nodding. He realizes that you need to leech off his spellbook. He's fine with that, but
I'll keep giving him scrolls when I find them.
yeah, he's fine with the arrangement. It doesn't mean he has to like your WWE or whatever you're describing.
Power slam!
After college, Mark and I were roommates briefly, along with another guy, and I can't stand WWE, and the two of them would be sitting down in the living room watching it. There's so much of it I picked up through osmosis from just living in the same place as them. I feel for Oberon.
As that before they went PG, there was blood all over the place.
Yeah, that and Power Rangers was really popular when I was a kid for some reason. Not sure why.
Power Rangers?
Well, right, where everybody who was like 5 or 6 years old was like, wrestling, Power Rangers. And I was like, that's stupid.
Okay.
Gundam winning.
So the three of you were down there. Lemio actually comes down to check out what you guys are doing. I guess he's kind of interested in animal in general. So there's a group of you that are down with the wolf. Well, there it is. Do we feed it? Or...
Not yet. I'll take care of this. He's in the... It's tied up, right?
Yep.
Galeth gets out his shield.
Well, actually, they put it in a cage because they probably didn't tie it down for 20 days.
Probably not.
They erected a cage.
Alright, so he approaches the cage with the long hammer. And he gets right up next to it.
Okay, it snarls at you.
And he starts banging the side of the cage rhythmically.
It gets up and is... It's growling.
And he starts to circle around the cage as far as he can go, back and forth, banging on the metal rhythmically as he goes.
You have everyone, a bunch of guards' attention as you're. He's training it, or he's mesmerizing it.
He gets in close to bait it to try to lunge at him.
Okay, it eventually does give in and lunges.
And he steps back and gives it a smack with the tip of the long hammer, just bashing it in the nose and knocking it back. And then as soon as it falls back, he lunges up to the cage, menacing it almost.
Okay, it kind of does that like sideways hop away that dogs do. It's really odd to see something so big acting like a little coyote.
Then he goes back to walking around the cage, banging on the bars again rhythmically.
So this continues.
Yeah, essentially what he's doing is he keeps doing this and antagonizing it into attacking, and then just immediately bashing it back and putting it back down. This goes on for most of the day. And at the end of the day, when it's finally cowering and no longer willing to keep this up, that's when he puts the meat in, and then he walks away.
Okay, so handle animal, train an animal for a general purpose is DC 15 or 20. It's DC 15 to teach it a trick, I think? No.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what you want the DC to be for him to just... Because he already knows what I want him to know. I just want him to serve me and Uker instead of...
Rearing a wild animal is pretty similar to what you're doing.
Okay. What's the DC for that?
15 plus the hit die of the animal.
Okay.
So you're basically taking something that's trained to eat men to let men ride its back.
A direwolf is like 3 or 4 hit dice.
Yeah, I'm looking that up. Direwolf is 5 hit dice.
5 hit dice.
So
Okay.
DC 20.
DC 20. Just speed it up to 3 days instead of 3 weeks is actually an additional +5 to the DC.
So DC 25.
DC 25.
Which means you spend 3 days and then you make a roll.
Correct. Let's see. I basically have a 25% chance of managing this in 3 days.
Unless you get aid.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Somebody can aid you.
I've got handle animal, but I'm really not good at it because I'm kind of unlikable.
Can you make DC
It's okay.
10s?
Not with any sort of regularity. I have a +4.
Lemmy's got a +9, so Lemmy auto aids.
Yeah.
Although Lemmy's learning spells. Never mind.
That's fine. You don't have to involve. We can always come back to this thing later.
Yep.
Just 3 days, man. That's not so bad.
Cursed will help you. He manages it. There's 1 aid.
Okay.
Uker, you help him?
We'll have Uker help no matter whether or not he wants to.
Because Uker, I think, was the one that wanted to ride
Yeah.
it.
We're gonna make you the guy who helps.
Yeah.
Okay. I aid.
Can I get an equipment bonus from anything?
It's a bit of masterwork at your handler's tools. Or we just have sort of cobbled together shit.
Well, I'm going to give +2 because it's already a trained animal. So I'll give, there's favorable circumstances going on here.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's caged, it was beat up, you've got the right set of tools, and
Okay. I'm ready to make the roll.
yeah, so 3 days go by, then you make the roll, basically.
28.
That's a success. Okay. On the 3rd day, you make a bit of a show out of it as you open up the gate while the guards kind of back off. It growls a little bit at the guards, but then Uker snaps his fingers, and it like drops its head down.
Gal puts a hand on its head, sort of gently stroking its fur behind its ears,
Doggy.
whispering to it. Good boy.
All right, you have a dire wolf mount now.
Yay! I'm gonna ride him around all night.
Okay, so they are convinced that they're being visited by Odin, as there's this giant strong man who's exotic looking is riding around their town on a huge ass wolf. Yeah, the villagers are impressed.
Yeah. We impressed the plebes.
Curse just gives Sir Galeth a nod, like that was instructional and inspiring. You're pretty certain that you can keep the trained animal in Salr Wyrmbein. That's probably the safest place to put it. Maybe away from the smart skunk.
Yeah. Fuck that skunk.
All right, so Uker, you can build a sheet for your wolf and probably give it a name.
Yes. Alright.
I have to figure out how to feed the damn thing, but
How tall are the walls?
What walls?
These walls.
the palisade?
That
Oh, the-
wall.
I
That wall.
think there were 30-foot towers, 20-foot walls.
Okay. One of these days, Uker is going to take time to try to jump the wall.
Take a running jump and jump over the wall.
Yes. His original plan doesn't work because I don't have third circle spells yet, but I was going to turn to a tiny little bird and carry
Okay.
people.
Lemio stops you. This is while you guys were training the mount, and you're kind of watching Uker ride around in the immediate vicinity with the mount. It's not the first time you rode it because you're actually training him to accept as a new owner. This is near the end of the training. It's the first day of training was pretty funny because the dog spent most of the time trying to bite Uker while Uker was on its back, so it ended up being just sort of this weird circle of
Dog tries to bite, smack dog. Dog tries to bite, smack dog.
It was Uker choking the dog out while you're smacking it with the long hammer.
Obey!
Go to
That
sleep.
dog.
So I wonder where we're going next. I'm asking because we learned a few things. As he pulls Sir Galeth and Uker off to the side. We'll say that he grabbed a Zildin. The only one that he wasn't able to convince to grab away is Oberon, because Oberon is busy with magic stuff. None of you saw Oberon, have you?
I haven't. Most likely
Yes.
he's tucked
He
away in
has
that
it.
moldy library.
Probably still with his books is probably a good guess.
Alright.
Most days, I think that'd be right.
If you could take a break from that, I wouldn't mind just having a little conversation just with the group of us.
Be happy to, friend. As far as where we're going next, I should think that'd be obvious. There's an orc army out there.
Well, we found out where they're coming from.
There is also Giant Queen.
I think those two things go hand in hand. The giants have rallied the orcs to their cause, correct?
Only some. More than one group of orc.
I've
They
heard,
not all together.
I've heard the same thing too. I heard the name before.
I think we should strike at our enemies, whittle them down.
You see, I met these three trolls. And one of them had mentioned a woman's name that he was in love with. I think that was the same woman.
Troll.
Small little thing. Red hat?
No, these are large things. Green. They stink worse than Rosie.
You
No,
are from a strange world.
Not from a
nothing
world, friend.
stinks
I'm
worse
from a
than
giant
Rosie.
tree.
Ah, you're gonna hurt her feelings.
Anyways, I have a feeling that the giants are coming from another place, going on to the tree, meeting up with orcs, and then heading down to this world, and to probably many others.
That might be so, but I think we need to take the fight to them now. We know they're to the north.
Now to the west.
To the west, then. We know they're nearby.
We're just gonna go out and kill orcs. How's that gonna help anything?
No.
So they don't come here to kill the rest of these people.
Or that provoke them to come.
I think we already did that when we sent the attack party scattering to the winds.
We need
Hello there, Pooch.
Orc.
What's your name? Oh.
is. I am waiting to find out personality before we give name.
I would
How about
describe him
Tulip?
as vicious, but loyal. It took a long time to break him.
Three days.
There's some things I can do in like one day.
I would like Persephone. If Rosie wasn't already named Rosie, I would have named her Persephone. Persephone the wolf. Think about it. Tulip's also nice. Butterfly.
What's with you and flowers?
Well, you crush up the right ones, then you dry them. And never mind, I'll show you another time.
How about Melion? There's a story about a knight who served Arcturus, and he transformed into a werewolf. As a curse. Or perhaps you have some wolves from your culture you might like to name him after.
You can always just name him Doug.
think the name for a wolf is Choho.
Chono. Choho is how you pronounce it.
Choho. Yeah.
Right now, call him Choho.
Just means wolf, doesn't it?
Yeah,
They
Put
got
down the
him out
stone
here.
and then call him Choho.
The stone, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You hear the
We
word
got a
Choho, but you
white-haired
understand
elf
wolf.
here who calls herself Silver Monkey, so whatever.
Mm.
I suppose it's a good enough name, but I think he deserves better than that. He's a tough one.
Urekcho.
Big wolf?
Beowulf.
Bear wolf. I like that. It's not bad.
It's stupid. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as a
Who can point to
urinating
himself
badger
and says,
to have one.
Bear, Urek, Choho, Urek
You have a
Choho.
stink badger.
It's a Zerillo.
It's a stink badger.
It's not a stink badger. It's a Zerillo. It's a distinctly different species. It's like calling your wolf a big dog.
Right. It's a bear dog. It's a good name. Or bear
It's
wolf.
I didn't say bear dog. It's a big dog. It's a distinct species.
I don't see what taxonomy has to do with any of this.
Okay, that roll was Oberon's something.
Oh God!
Oh.
His
We're
spleens
gonna
on
go
his
back and-
outside.
No? The Mind of Madness? Something? So, we need to talk to Giant Lady and tell her not to come here.
Yeah, or we could just close the portal or whatever, so she can't come here anymore.
I don't think we'll be able to close it.
Even if we
Why
could, they
not?
might just open up another one if they have the ability to do so.
It's a great Yggdrasil. You'd have to kill the root.
Something tells me that's not something we'd want to do or could do.
Why don't we pull portal closed?
It depends. I've seen Yggdrasil barely stick a leaf into another world, yet I've seen entire tree trunks, a mile wide, going into other places. It depends how deep the connection is, from Yig to here. We'd have to see it for ourselves.
But Giant Lady from here,
No?
her orc army from somewhere else, or is Giant Lady from somewhere else?
The giant lady's from somewhere else. Unless she's from here.
Well, that's not very helpful.
So they
Why
said-
don't we go find this giant queen and tell her that she might as well she might go somewhere else.
Perhaps we should find the commander or general behind this attack on Runeshoyde.
That's what I said earlier, that we need to do something about this army.
We know why they come. They come for Hammer. Hard to move Hammer.
They might have a difficult time with that.
Yes.
It is like a movable rod.
I don't know
You
what
might
that
be
is.
able to tell it to move if you know the right word or something.
As I said before, if we went to my home, we'd be able to consult the library that is there. Written upon proper media.
How
And
Would
long
your
to
kinsman
go
be able
there?
to assist us?
I vaguely remember as a child coming across something that etched that looked a lot like that hammer. Of course, I could be mistaken.
Perhaps you could petition your realm to send warriors to help.
My realm probably doesn't know that I'm still alive, given what my cousin is likely up to.
They would most likely discover that you were still alive if we went to visit the library.
That's what I'm saying. If we do go to my home, we will likely have to face dwarf and axe.
How long to get to your home?
It is a bit of a trick, and it is in the wrong way to the Lakelanders. The opposite direction of the orcs.
If you think they would be of help, perhaps that is the way that must take us.
I would like to return with friends who could help me.
We will carry your bastard.
It's not the sort of help I was talking about. The problem with me going back there is there would be bloodshed, and I am loath to go back to slaughter my own kind to simply be considered king again. It is not a big enough place, truly, to be king of. Mind you, they have jarls for towns.
If we go there and no shed blood because we are many and very strong,
There are enough axes to give us pause. Perhaps there's some way of getting close to my cousin without need for bloodshed.
magic. Oberon.
If you were to help me, you would know the hospitality of a dwarven chief, is what he decides is a better word for king. He never really had to think about what he would tell other people. He didn't expect to be here.
He was taking a bath.
He was taking a bath. Chief.
I'd be happy to help you, but I think our more pressing concern at this moment is Runeshoyde and his people.
Yes, but if I had the axes at my command, then I could command them to come down from the mountains and help the people of Runeshoyde. If this place fell to orc, how long before giant and orc would be at our own doorstep?
That's a good point.
We're
And it would free us.
we're stronger together, are we not?
Agreed.
And
How
it
many
would free-
axes? How many axes do you think you might be able to muster?
Including the women?
If they can fight as well?
600.
That is a formidable army to defend such a place as this. With the proper supplies and provisions, we could hold out indefinitely.
That would be every dwarf who can carry an axe.
It would leave your home undefended.
A small garrison could be spared. Maybe 60.
It would still improve the chances of the people of Runeshoyde significantly. It is my opinion that if you think you can rally these axes, these dwarves, to your cause, that we should assist you and make that our #1 priority. We'd
How
kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
fast can we go? How long take to get there?
Ride on horseback?
Let me switch to the map again.
Or wolfback? If need be, we could take one of the boars and a wagon. Though,
We ride by bull wagon.
it might be less
Called beggar.
might be less mobility than simply horseback.
I am barely in the wolf's light load.
Yeah, those things are strong.
Barely.
Okay, so these are
Big gang.
12-mile hexes, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think the doggy needs a band hall spell.
Okay, so let me force you guys to the center here.
Lord Actual.
So Runeshoyde is on this hill overlooking the confluence of, or the near confluence of 2 rivers. They go out into this seawater bay. Dvergholm is a number of hexes away. Let me just get out a measuring tool.
65 feet.
Yeah, 70 feet through 70, 10,
As the raven flies.
14 hexes times 12. It is likely less than 200 miles. It is rough terrain, however. Deep forest, hills that rise into the mountains.
Could we take a ship? Travel by water?
A boat would only get us partway up the Silverwood River. It could get us to where the forest grows thick. And he kind of roughly draws on the map that a boat could probably get you up this far. It might be quicker. It places us deep within the forest. I was thinking more of walking along the edge of the forest until we get to the closest part and then ducking in.
Would probably be safer.
Of course, there are a lot of wolves that way. He glances to the dire wolf that you're riding. So basically 200 miles through rough terrain. If you go around a little bit, maybe 240 through hills, you're probably only traveling on foot at 30-foot movement, probably 20 miles a day through rough terrain for most of it. So you're looking at 10 days there. 10 to 12 days.
And 10 days back.
Then 10 days back, depending on how much time you spend there. Yeah.
2 days.
One day to slap, one day to command. Sure.
One day to slap, one day to lick bobos, one day to command.
Oh man.
3 days. On the third day we
Okay,
leave.
so there are some options. There to go to the west, to go fight Orknesker. Lemio's going, well, that doesn't bring us anywhere close to the heart of the Elderwood.
Where is Elderwood?
Well, from what I gather, we gotta go down this. I guess you've moved to Miko's to go look at a map. You've borrowed Miko's map, basically.
Yeah.
We go down this this valley, and then we head towards the heart of the wood. I'm guessing it's this weird river that goes in a ring. Rivers don't normally fly that way. Yggdrasil, if I had to guess, is there.
I think protecting the people of Runeshoyde is the least we can do. If Lockrick thinks that he can bring his dwarves here to defend it, then I would feel ready to branch out further and consolidate our support.
They should have wall before we go.
Unless we want to go out and just try to find a captain to see if we can learn more about the enemy.
And risk further antagonizing their attacks or stepping up their schedule. I don't think that's a good idea. Not until we can be certain that we have the defenses we need at Runeshoyde. I don't want to be 5 days out of the town and come back and find the whole thing burning and swarming with orcs.
Can you know what kind of defenses you need if you don't know what kind of offense you're going to face?
We already faced one of their offenses.
Yeah,
Killed 100 orcs.
One of them.
You think they're likely?
I didn't throw everything at it.
You think they're likely to mix up their tactics?
Yeah.
We need to hide the hammer.
You're big and strong. Put a rock in that hole.
Yeah, no kidding. Just take the whole mountain down, for crying out loud.
Can you do that?
You know, punch
No
it
offense,
or
but
something.
to be honest, I don't think I've seen the limit of your strength.
Mm.
If you can lift a mountain and you're holding out on us, let us know now.
I'm working on it. Need stronger juice.
Well, I will say this. If we come across an enemy castle, I'll just have you push down one of the turrets and we'll walk in.
Juggernaut.
Right.
I'm gonna switch back now that you guys got a sense of the geographies.
I think it's best to stay on horseback. The boat was a good idea, but if we can't make it all the way up the river, there's no point. We'll end up walking eventually anyway.
The boat's not a bad idea if we're going somewhere else. It's kind of hard to tell without seeing the rivers. I don't know this land. But we should become more familiar with it. It's blessed.
Uker's gonna hop off Urik Cho.
Yep.
And he's gonna pick up Lokrik. And he's gonna put him on Urik Cho.
I don't know how I feel about this. To see if he has any ranks in ride.
I'll give a sort of a snarl to Urik Cho, and then I'll give him a pet on the head.
Okay. Lokrik does not have any ranks in ride, and 1 rank in handle animal, so he's a bit awkward on the...
I get a piece of rope back tied, so he's just like a log on the back of the wolf.
I'm not sure if I want to ride wolf.
I'm sure we can find you a horse.
Yeah, they do,
that's more
they
to
do
your
have the
liking.
odd horse. They're not a big horse culture in this particular town, but they have made reference of nearby horse plains.
Or if you're willing to wait a little bit longer, I could train one of those boars to carry you.
Now that's more like it.
That's also fucking awesome.
I would
Very well.
much prefer that than something that would eat me.
I will,
It'll take me a few days, but I can get it ready for you.
I will pluck Lokrik off the wolf and put him down.
Let me down, damn you. He gives you a look like, don't pick me up again.
If you want me to train you to fight, it'll
Gives him
take a
big
little bit
smile,
longer.
just-
Yeah.
He doesn't really realize that it's rude.
What was that? What did you say, John?
If you want me to train it to fight, it'll take a little bit longer. 3 days to teach it to carry you. 3 more so that it doesn't get spooked in battle and use its tusks.
Then why don't we start?
Very well. I'll need some supplies and some assistance.
Okay, Lokrik will help, and the townsfolk have been commanded to help, and they don't mind. They don't mind helping train one of the dire boars. To train a dire boar that's already domesticated, we'll say is like training the thing. Let me just see.
And combat training is DC 20?
15 plus its hit dice.
Okay.
Oh right,
Did anybody-
combat training is DC 20. You're correct.
We need to. We've missed 2 crucial things.
What's that?
Which I guess Uker will address one of them. Magic weapon and the spell storing amulet. Or not the spell storing, the circle of the pearl of power. But he doesn't care about the pearl of power, but he's going to go talk to the blacksmith.
We need to get someone to fashion a harness or a saddle for this creature.
Yep.
If you're to ride it. Perhaps that can be done while I'm taming it.
Okay, so look up the price of an exotic saddle, and then double it because it's a large creature. And then, yeah, I'm assuming you guys told Wayland a while ago which weapon you wanted to craft. I think you can craft a +1 blade in 2 days.
Yep. Can he make a lance?
Yeah, it's a weapon.
Okay. So
Is it a proper blade?
Uker's going to go over to the... with a
120
reason to go over to the blacksmith shop.
Okay.
120 GP for the exotic military saddle.
You know I can also craft weapons now. I've spent some time at the forge and some things that were taught to me. I remember. Wayland is also a good teacher.
I thought you said you were king.
Yes?
I've never seen a king with man hands. And he's showing calluses.
No. You must understand the dwarven people. The survivors that fled to various worlds had to fight and work hard. Plus, the gods themselves of the dwarven kind are some of the finest smiths in all the multiverse. To be king, to be the king that my people desperately need, is to be a great warrior, to have the favor of the gods, to be a forge master, and a leader that can inspire the people.
All of your ancestors are watching you, smiling when you work hard.
I hope that they are not watching yet. I have not done anything of note,
is what he says, almost like depressed.
We've all had bad days.
Uka, get over here. I need your gentle touch with this beast.
Okay, so yeah, the going to fetch the weapon was a bit earlier, but all right. Wayland is there, and so is the big orc lady.
I'll get
the saddle dog.
Lemio to auto help.
Yep.
Saddle costs 120 GP. Adam, roll to assist.
Okay, alright, I will roll to assist. This is not great. Ah! Oh, I assist like a boss.
Alright.
Oh, and Lokrik can assist because he rolls a net 20 with a +7. So
okay, so I have 29.
All right.
I have successfully trained this boar to be a battle boar.
Now the boar has the first rank of combat training. It will attack like other animals and humanoids and stuff. It won't attack like supernatural
advanced
things. Yeah.
Right. We'll work on that later. I think I can do that in like one day.
Yep. So let's go to Lokrik and Uker going to visit the other dwarf. They speak to each other in Dwarven, and you only get half the conversation.
Tell him we need a magic lens.
You saw the lance that...
Yeah, he basically tells Wayland, because... Oh yeah, you can understand him, but sure.
You saw the lance that the knight had wielded. It's longer than a spear and has specific holding. We would like you to magic such a lance.
I have no... he speaks back in Dwarven. He turns to Uker.
It would take him time to craft a proper lance, although if we could get the lance that Galeth already has and put magic upon it.
Galeth, your lance is missing in the morning, and you're not certain where it went.
I began hewing down peasants in my rage.
with your
hold
paladin rage. Wait, what is
Crap,
that?
that's not right.
And a couple days later, your lance is returned to your side. Did you even tell Galeth that his lance is now magic?
My spellcraft is 0.
There's this shine to it. It looks like somebody... Oh, this is going to sound sexual. Polished your lance? Like cleaned your lance? Oh, no, it's just...
It doesn't work no matter what you do.
Magicked your lance. Damn it.
Oh, it's all bad.
It's all bad.
Refurbished my lance.
Unless I go mechanic, it's like +1 to your lance. No, that still sounds...
I +1 my lance.
There's no digging your way out of this.
Enchanted my lance.
Oh god.
Ensorcelled my lance.
Oh, you know it's
wait.
late in the evening when...
Reforged my lance.
Oh god, that sounds painful. I think that was night in
It's
window.
a penis. That's the That's the joke.
That's the joke.
Oh, that's a joke. All right, so yeah, so Uker's there. Oh, he wants to talk to the lady. Got it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll add a +1 to my lance. +1 lance.
She's hammering the horseshoe or something when you arrive. This is you to pick up the lance, and you managed to not go with Lokrik.
Yep.
You see a sad scene. For 2 days, he's riding around trying to stab something with a broom.
He's got a broom handle.
I'm just kidding. He's not gonna do that. That'd be hilarious, though.
Well, you're using practice lances because you were breaking them all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Do you do okay? In the worst Icelandic you ever heard. I don't think, because it's almost been 20. Is it 20 days? I think we're really close to 20 days.
Yeah.
We're at 20 days? Okay, so then I speak Icelandic. So.
What do you want, Uka? She says.
I have not seen a woman so strong.
Most men call me a man.
Only because they are not manly enough.
She scrunches her face at that. Give me a diplomacy check.
10. Fuck off, Beardo.
I've got work to do, she says. Kink, kink, kink. The town's not going to rebuild itself.
True.
Maybe you could put that strength of yours to good work and move some stone.
I can probably move a stone.
She's kind of in a backhanded way referencing, you moved stone to... You threw an
Do
anvil.
other shit.
Yeah, you threw an anvil, it's got a dent in it now. And you threw a stone on the dude, but haven't lifted a finger to help, do the hard labor, so...
The manual labor is...
Yeah.
Valnod, I will take the lance, and I will walk out. Oh. And then I'll actually go and, now that I've done all my spell stuff, I guess we'll go do some...
Okay.
We'll do the town.
Zildin, this is as you guys were finished training the wolf and had the idea of training the boar, and that's when that's when you go back and you notice that you haven't seen Oberon in a while.
Oh, okay. Maybe we'll go have a look for him.
Okay. You notice Rosie's in the bed. Rosie has been wandering over to where into the other rooms and stealing food and then running back to make a little pile on your bed.
Okay, well, at least I've got snacks.
All right. So you check into where you're sleeping, where some of the others are sleeping. You go into Oberon's room. You can see his books neatly packed up and his backpack.
Mm-hmm. Is there?
Is there, yeah.
Alright, Oberon.
You notice that there was a candle on the desk and it's completely burned down, like the wax all over the place.
It's been burned out for a while, though.
You go over and feel it. It's cold.
Okay, what was the last thing it looks like he was working on?
His spell books were actually all closed. Like the books were stacked on top of each other.
So, looks like he finished what he was doing. And then... what? But, like, his backpack still there is...
Yep. Some of his gear is not there, like the things he carries on his person.
Okay. Are there any items that weren't divvied out or identified that are missing?
You guys hadn't decided what to. You haven't decided what to do with the ring of pearls, like the pearl necklace, or the moonstone necklace with the pearl of power in it. It's lying on top of the book that he writes in when he identifies. Actually, the book of identification is missing. You've got an awesome perception check. You're like, oh, he carries 4 books or whatever, and you notice that there's only 3.
All right.
And then you start looking around, and you're like, oh, one of his his quill and jar are gone. Like his writing ink.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Look around. Look around the building, I guess, for
Okay.
him.
You notice that there is a chair with a book on it, and it's flapping in the wind. And a bottle with the little feather pen. It's actually out on this little area.
Okay, like just out in the middle of nowhere? Or?
Yeah, it's just out. It's here. Do you see where I am? I'm in the
no,
back of Salr Wyrmbein.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just kind of out and about in the town right now. Alright, got it. Yeah.
So there's a chair out here. His book is on the chair, and you notice that there's a little inkwell beside it, and the pen is there.
Remind me, is that the tub, or is that his desk?
That was his desk. Yeah, the desk got moved into the building. I'm assuming
Okay.
Edgar did that.
Okay. Are there any footprints around the,
Yeah, give me a survival.
Oh, this is very screwed up. Yeah, not with the 14.
It's hard to tell. There was a battle out here days ago. It's rained since.
Alright, is there anything unusual or changed about the statue?
The plinth of rune stone?
Yeah.
Nope, but give me a perception check as you walk by the chair with the book.
29?
The identification book is kind of open at a spot. It's still
What's
flapping
it
in the
on?
wind. He started making a drawing of the rune stone and of the small rune stones, and you can see notes in the margins.
And are these rune stones that he's drawing, they're similar to the ones that brought us here?
Yeah, so and it's the same pattern that's on this thing. Like similar style pattern. So he's got a drawing of the large standing runestone, and then he's got 6 little kind of replicas, and he's got kind of like lines that go to them, and like some questions in the margin. You can read Elven, so it's like planar travel ? This must be some sort of conjuration magic, yet the runestone itself does not radiate magic. But something seems to be happening to the runestone when I bring it closer. The last time I looked at the runestone, it didn't have anything. I wonder if...
Alright, grab the book and find someone else who knows about arcane magic. Lokrik!
Okay, so they're training Pig when Azildan goes running down. They're riding around in the big-ass boar.
I'm guessing Isildur probably runs into Uker, who's going to go stash the lance back where he found it.
Yeah, Uker's got Gallus lance for some reason. He's got a frown on his face.
Where's the dwarf?
With Galeth and the pigs.
Well, I need to speak with him. We may have a problem. Or a solution, I don't know.
Any problem.
Yeah, this one's about the elf.
You still have a big puzzle?
Oh. He's missing. He might not be on this world no more.
Problem.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Or a solution?
Yeah, it's also what I said.
Hurry up!
Okay, so you got your lance in your hand. Are you going to go running all the way back up to where Lamry is and put the lance back, or are you going to walk over to...
I want to pop an expeditious retreat.
Okay,
And
Uker
do
goes
it.
running towards Salr Wyrmbein with the lance. You gonna wait for
You're an
him?
arsehole, that one.